Here's a question for you at home. Would you know when someone is having a stroke? After all, a stroke can happen to anyone at any age. And when a stroke does happen, recognizing the signs and acting quickly could be the key to saving someone's life, including your own. In today's Gateway to Wellness, sponsored by Regenerative Neuropathy, we are happy to have Jacqueline Snider and also Kim Evans with us. Both of them work at Right at Home, and they are here to walk us through kind of what to look out for to know if we or someone else is having a stroke. Ladies, it is so good to see you.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for having us here today. It's a pleasure.
It's such an important topic, and I know for a fact so many people watching at home know someone who have suffered a stroke. Maybe they have themselves. So let's lay the groundwork. What exactly is a stroke?
A stroke is a lack of blood flow to the brain that can cause damages to the brain, if that makes sense. So mainly those early signs. Right at home, we like to train our caregivers on how to notify and how to identify a stroke. And those signs are the drooping of the face or the slurred vision. We want to make sure that our caregivers are prompt and empowered. So we just continue training our caregivers so they can be aware of how to look for that stroke and those signs, because fast acting, as we know, can limit the damages to the brain.
I'm so glad that you specifically used the word fast, and I'm guessing that was intentional, because I've always heard of the FAST test or be fast. What exactly does that mean when we're talking about a stroke?
When we're talking about a stroke, be fast. So they just really they implemented that here probably a couple years here, but B is mainly the blurred vision or the balance, and also fast. So fast is like it's the drooping of the face. Kim, I'm going to
any arm pain or weakness,
definitely.
And then any slurred speech, and then just knowing when it's time to call 911.
And I'm guessing time is of the essence when it comes to potentially having a stroke, and you would much rather call 911 and it not be a stroke than wait on it before you make that call. And then finally, how does Right at Home handle clients going through a stroke?
Right at Home, we empower our caregivers. So we train our caregivers through different measures by utilizing Right at Home University, home care posts, making them aware of stroke signs and how to be aware and what to do in fast acting, because we want to make sure that our clients get the fastest care possible so we can prevent these strokes. So yes, most definitely.
We are so thrilled that both of you are here today with truly life-saving advice and information. And to get in contact with Right at Home, visit their website at rightathome.net/St-Louis-Central. I know that's a lot of information, so how about we just make it easy by posting this segment following the show at firstalerts4.com/mystl-live. Gateway to Wellness is sponsored by Regenerative Neuropathy, St. Louis's neuropathy experts. Give them a call at 618-232-4063.